Hi everyone. So, the past days, I've been looking at things from an economy point of view, from a economist's point of view, looking at the entire job sectors, looking at people as the workforce, as business people, how every single person is performing some sort of service and job in exchange for money, and that moves products and services around. And within looking at this, I decided to bring things into a more grander and a picture that represents reality more. And this is looking at the entire global population, looking at the entire global workforce, not divided by country or by currency, but just all of the people on this planet, equally considering them as a workforce, as people who provide products and services. And taking that perspective, you start seeing how there's large portions of population of people who are performing a work, performing some sort of job or service that is not supported by the technology that has already been developed and implemented within other parts of the population. And if you were to invest the time and the money to create these technologies and basic innovations and practices and install that where it's lacking in the world, then the entire efficiency, the entire outcome, the product will be better, and you'll have more. In addition, there are lots of people who are not performing a job or service that is really, let's say, essential. Like, for example, if we spent, okay, let's consider the whole workforce, let's consider the world as one country, one world order, that everyone is part of the same workforce, the same team. That if we look at, for example, how some parts of the world have so much of their, let's say, daily life, what they contribute within a service or a product, how that is not a priority product, because if you were to instead prioritize a service or product which will empower other people within their daily work, which includes technology, which includes a service, an education, a passing on of skills and empowering. And if we get the entire world up into the highest state, you could say, possible, where everyone is as educated as possible, or at the level of education for the particular work, for the particular skill that they do, if everyone is at that level of technology, of use of materials and capital, then what that kind of world, that kind of one world order, would be vastly different than we have today. We would have much more production of food, of resources. There would be so much left over. There would be so much people in the workforce who wouldn't need to work, because all of the basics, all of the stuff like good houses, good streets, everything could be built and created and made for the entire world. And simply through this act of focusing on education and providing the infrastructure, the capital, the machinery, the technology, and there'd be so much of the population left over, and that population, the workforce, would be able to go into the, let's say, more educated fields, studying new technologies, uncovering new things. Imagine now we have 7 billion people or 8 billion people on the planet, and how much of that workforce is not fully implemented in the efficient, most effective way possible. And if you have that efficiency and effectiveness, then look at all the amount of people that would be available to be educated, to be inventors, to be researchers, who would be available to come up with new ideas for new things, how to approach things. And you would have so much of the population available to 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 work on nature conservation, to rebuilding the environment, to rebuilding the earth, the water, the finding ways to make things better for the populations, have a more efficient energy system that doesn't create so much pollution. To find all these solutions, to create all these things, and to be able to provide a good life for each of us, where if there were more people, for example, if there were more doctors, then, and if there was ways to reinvent the education system, to reinvent how things are done so it's more efficient. Because whenever you have more people available, more people who have the time to do research, to investigate, one of those ideas, one of those investigations, one of those innovations will be the right one, and that will change how things are done, so it becomes better. That is why it's so important to invest within the very basics of human needs, which includes food, make sure farming practices are the best possible, which includes water, make sure cleaning water is the best practice possible, which includes housing, make sure construction is the best possible, to all these basic points. When you take care of that and make it really readily available, then you start having these possibilities, these potentials for much deeper and revolutionary change that will simply make things better, more efficient, more effective, saving time, saving, let's say, money, saving all these things, saving human resources. So you open up more people able to do things. And looking at it this way, it makes a lot of sense, because whenever one area of the world is better off, they are able to provide more for the other areas of the world. And currently that is not how we economists view things, or people who study the economy view things, because we're looking at how things, let's say, are perceived right now, which is how things are separated within nations and different peoples and cultures. But in reality, this is one world, and so that's the more realistic perspective, that realistically there are large portions of the population of the planet Earth which aren't at the efficiency and effectiveness that other parts of the world at. And if those parts of the world who are effective and efficient right now are able to invest the time and the money to create the machinery, to create the educators, to create the points of where you will rebuild and upgrade the infrastructures of the people of other parts of the world who aren't at the same level as you, to be at the same level as you, then you would have things like incredibly more efficient farming, incredibly more effective creation of the goods and services that you're already trading with that, let's say, as a nation with the other nation. It will make things better. But right now, how things are set up, it's more selfish and self-interested, where then you let other countries deal with their own problems, but then because they don't have the outside support, they won't be able to actually develop at the high capacity anytime soon, maybe even never. Maybe they'll get squeezed out and won't be able to even provide you, let's say, as a better, well-off nation, with the things you're actually receiving them with trade. It's really a basic principle that what's best for all is best for all, where if you help others be better and do better, actually you're helping yourself, because then they're able to help you with what they're able now to do. That's how things really work. That's reality. That's reality economy. A reality view well, I don't want to call it a view, it's just reality, you know? When you have a view, it's like looking at things from a one-sided perspective, but when you take things how they really exist, then it's just the truth, the view, the one reality. So that's how things are, and there's great potential. We could really potentially change this world into something fabulous, something wonderful, something great. And it's going to be the first time it will ever be done. So let's get to it. Let's be pioneers.